right, let's see if Starlink is going to come through for us. I'll tell you what, if you're hanging out with me tonight, we are going to be taking and breaking down what we did to these raw drums to make them go from.
I had a problem, God had a plan, so I'll trust the mighty works of.
Over to this.
When I had a problem, God had a plan, so I'll trust the mighty works of your hands. You make all things new.
Awesome. A little bit crunchy there. I'm hitting a little bit hard. Fresh ears, hearing things. But guys, if you're new here, I'm David Glenn, founder of the Mix Academy. And today we're breaking down above worship, all things new, the drums on this, what we did, why we did it. I'm going to show the method to the madness, all that good stuff. But first, if you're new here, would love to point you to the Headphone Mixing Blueprint. It's going to take you through my exact setup, my gear, my calibration that you can actually download for free. I'm going to include a couple of my mid-range go-to EQs, pulling up all the time, that are going to give you the NS10 or the MixCube vibe, be able to compare your mixes to references and focus on that mid-range, and all kinds of good stuff down, link in the description. And then we've just released the Founders Access for MIXPrep 2.0 is here. Founders are getting it in their email tonight. We've got Pro Tools, not just direct inject from MIXPrep, but we've got session template. I'm calling it session print. Take a finished mix. I'm going to take a snapshot of that. And then when you prep with MIXPrep, the final step is going to put it right into your mix template. And it's crazy. It's been head in the sand building this thing. More details in the description. But for now, let's get in. I've only got a little bit of time here before I got to leave pick up my oldest. So we're going to drive through these drums. So first, if you haven't seen the previous videos, go check them out. We kind of walk through the template, the workflow, what we're doing, why. And then now we're actually looking at the tracks. And so first up, we're going to look at the kick drum, because what was that? I used to hear the spirit of the kick drum, or what was that saying? I forget. Man, it's been a long time. No one's going to know what I'm talking about. It's basically about, the power of a great kick drum and how it's kind of a fake move of the spirit. But we'll just stick with the mixing tonight, and we'll leave theology for another discussion. So here's my kick system. So I got sick of doing the same thing over and over and over for modern worship, and for I do a variant of this for gospel stuff that I mix. And basically, I took 5 kick drum blends that I'd mixed and recorded and blended and used over 15 plus years of doing this. Always kind of came to a handful of different sounds with the bottom end. And so what I noticed is that I could get my samples at a really good level, get hitting hard, not get dial in the low end, but there was all this, 45 minutes to 2 hours sometimes working on the kick and the bass relationship. And so I thought, let me just lock in what's worked. And so I created these samples and I packed them into Mixing Modern Worship, my course, but I'm now including that in Control Room. So you can get MIXPrep, Control Room, all of it together. And basically, it's got the 2-bus processing. Everything is routed and processed in the sample, and then that goes to my mix bus. And so I'm going around the 2-bus processing and the parallel compression and all that stuff, and the sample is just landing here at the final bit of processing for clipping, for limiting, ozone if we use it, any of that kind of stuff. And so there's a couple of things there's drawbacks to it, but the benefit is that's my foundation of my mix. If I'm going for minus, I don't even want to say it, but a heavy modern industry standard loudness, if we're going -5, -6, -7, then this works perfectly for that, because it's locked in, and then I build the mix around that level of the kick drum. And so for this sound, for this style, it's worked amazing, and it's made it to where I'm not chasing the low end of the kick anywhere near as much. And it's made things pretty awesome. But let's go ahead and show it off in practice here. We'll play the drums solo. I lost my sub pack here. But anyways, come in here and let's solo, and you can hear exactly what's happening. Okay, so obviously if you're not hearing that, then we got to talk about your monitoring or your headphones. So check out the Headphone Mixing Blueprint. We'll help you hear that better. But the gist is this. I've got these 5 samples. Pick one. You can blend if you want, but these are already multiple blended samples. And then I've done a high cut filter at a safe kind of region and phase with there's 2 parts. I didn't even explain that. You've got the sub kick and then you got the click kick. And then the 2 of these make up the kick drum sound. Pretty. Okay, so that's the click I chose for this record. There's the sub together. Okay, and then if I wanted to, I could come in here and actually there I did. I changed it to a different bottom end. That's the one I actually used. We can come out here and use number 5. Tighter, different resonance. They've all got their own little bit of character, but this is the one that I used on this song, and that's the gist. I think I even messed with EQ and then ended up going away from it because it just worked. Now, talk about drawbacks. By doing this, we're not sending this low-end information into our 2-bus compression. There's some other things that I've played with sidechain and had a lot of success with that to where it's triggering the compressor, but it's not. And so it's definitely not for everyone, but for me personally, getting to a finished modern worship sound and not having to fight the low end every time, it's been phenomenal. I still do send this to the kick sidechain, so it's still pushing the bass down, even though it's going around the bus processing. The kick and bass are still locked. I'm not losing anything there. If anything, I feel like I'm getting a fuller, more punchy sound that's just hitting whatever clipping and limiting is the final on the chain, but I've not done the clipping or the limiting on the sample. So that's the only thing that it didn't get. It got my bus compression. It was such a big part of the sound, and locking in the low end was how I treated the bus. It just has worked out so much better for me to not, and man, autism and ADHD over here. For my brain, it is amazing to not have to fight it. And so we get in, pick the flavor of the day, and we move forward, whatever's working for that song. But sub kick, we looked at that. I'll pull this open. I did do some spaghetti mess EQ over here with the click. Which one do we went with? Number 5 here. That's got, some room sound to it. Let's click through some of these. Right? A little more boxy. Just good sounding. Nothing is going to be harsh. Nothing's taking anyone's head off. They're balanced. I don't know how many hours I used or to create all that, but it was several months of tuning and retuning and playing with it on the side of mixing projects and stuff. And I think we got something pretty sweet. So yeah, these samples locked in the Mix Academy's control room. Links in the description. Let's talk about the snare drum. And first up, this came to us. We'll go up here and listen to the raw because I like the way they sound as they were shipped to us here. And I believe he said, and shout out again to Above Worship for letting us share this. We got these multi-tracks in the Mix Academy's control room. So if you want to mix this for yourself, you share it on your resume. We just ask that you give the band credit and point you got them from the Mix Academy. But check that out. Again, links in the description. The band for sharing them, what was I saying? I like the way they programmed it. I think he said it was my friends over at Drum Sample Shop. Awesome drum samples, incredible pack. I think this was the Austin Davis, if I'm remembering the name correctly. And I love those samples. So Johnny, Payton. Yeah, those sound awesome, but they're very dynamic. There's no control. They're not glued together. It sounds like a bunch of individual instruments. And so was happy with that, but let's come back over here for a second. Yeah. So there we feel like they're in a room, a little more together. You still got the forward thing. I'm a sucker for a fat, loud snare drum. I've got, Nolly from Periphery's snare catcher here for my drums. I'm sure I used it on this one. It's probably smashing at least 3 or 4.
Just the mighty works of your hands.
Or a little bit more. Okay. So we'll come back. We'll talk about that. Let's look at the snare drum. I did go over the routing in the previous video. So if you got time to check that out, recommend we'll do a crash course here. Kick, snare, and toms. I like to do parallel compression, sometimes parallel distortion. It depends on what mood I'm in. But I like to have fun with those and hit them hard at the bus level and the track level. Hat, ride, overhead, cymbal mics, room mics. I like to deal with them just at the track level. I don't like to get them super washy. I do parallel compression almost always on the 2-bus. And so by having that 2-bus compression, I'm already, things are already getting kind of out of control with it. But so by doing that, I send the kick, snare, toms to the all drums bus. And I send the hat, the ride, the overheads, and the rooms to a high-end bus. This is weird, something I picked up from Dave Pensato years ago. But that's the quick version. Go watch the last video. It's still going to be up for a little bit. With this, let's take a look at the snare. I did choose to use what he sent, which it's almost always samples for me, but he sent samples. They were programmed drums. And so we did, we touch them a little bit here. Let's turn all of this processing off. Yeah, so you can hear, great sample to start. What did we do to destroy that sound? Yeah, so warmer, not as exciting in the upper mid-range. I'm not a big fan of 3 to 5K on most things, 2 to 5K even. I'm real careful in there, and you can hear it's almost muddy sounding here, but we do have other stuff layered. We'll come back and look at that. Let's hear what we layered here. I can almost guarantee you this has got some top end to it. Okay, so it says here in the notes, super sharp transients. I don't know if that's, I think I got rid of the processing. Those were notes from the last template. But anyways, this is a little brighter, a little out of control with. Yeah, so just more, louder. So let's come over here and let's take a look. So the first EQ was brightening it, but then controlling 6K. And then this fundamental here, I actually really dig using dynamic mode here and then using upward compression on the fundamental on everything, but especially worship where you really want that chunky lower end. You can hear how you get that excitement from it, that extra, I don't know what you call that, snap even. It's got a nice vibe to it. I didn't use it on this, so we'll just get rid of it. Clear dynamics, that should do it. It was a little boring on this one, but moving on, compression. And let's hear it without all of this, and then we'll go on and off. Yeah, so it's more obviously open and punchy and transient and all that. We're gripping it for character. Got that extra little bit of snap on it from the compression. And then, I got to watch myself because I'll mix with the snare way too hot. And then this is me trying to get fancy with it. What are we doing here? We got mid-side EQ. We're pulling out 3, 5K, 4K in the mids, which is going to leave it alone in the sides. And then more fundamental, wanted more down there, a little lower than the fundamental even. And then 10K to make up for dulling it out like that. It looks like we just kind of shifted the sonic profile of this snare sample. And then we've done the 1K dip here, 4 or 5 dB, sometimes 10, just depends. We got 6.5 on this one. Or sometimes none, but let's hear it in and then we'll take it out. Yeah, you know, we could probably loop. So we're sucking out quite a bit of the life out of the mid-range and stuff up there, but I just didn't need it. And so we got rid of it. Let's come over here. Let's see what this other one's doing. Looks like the same starting place. Is this just a duplicate? It is. So I duplicated it and went for heavier compression. Would be an understatement. So I basically did a parallel duplicate here. And we sucked out low end because it was too much on this one. Still took out some mids. But on this guy, we actually took out top end. Because we didn't. Yeah, so on this one, we're boosting. On this one, we're actually cutting. So just having a play with two snare drums here. We duplicated it and trying to fatten it up and shape it. Let's see what we got. We got a little bit of a gate on here. That can't be right. Do I automate that gate? Is that a bypass somewhere? It is. Like it's out here. It's on. So at the beginning. So it's a little tighter in the first chorus. When I didn't want you. Now you get the kind of expanse from the decay there on the duplicate in this section. So maybe I knew what I was doing on this one. All right, so snare drum, we got some things happening. What else? We had it going to the Submaster for more loudness. We have a snare SC. And the snare, where do we send the snare SC? What plugin? I think we did, was it the All Music bus? I can't remember. Let's go see if we did that here. So we have a few things happening. We have the kick pushing down the All Music bus in the subs and the mid-range there. Then we have the toms pushing down the music bus in everything below, what is that? 2.5K or so. Where are we using the snare SC? I wonder if I'm sending it into the toms and pushing down tom bleed or snare bleed in the toms. I don't think so. No, we are using the kick is pushing down the toms as well. So if the kick and the toms hit together, the kick is going to win that initial low end battle right here. And then this in the mid-range here is going to push down as well so that the kick click stays consistent on top of the track. Sometimes I do it the other way around and I give the toms, let them win the battle on the mid-range, but then let the kick win the low. Hey, comment down below if you have questions about that. Maybe we could break it down further in another video. But I'm trying to hunt down and not leave anything, no stone unturned here, but I can't find where I sent that snare. It's been like 8 or 9 months since we mixed this one, so forgive me. If I find it, we'll come back and we'll show you. But yeah, so we talked about the EQ. The other thing here was Isotope's Neutron 5 transient shaper. And let's talk about what that's doing. If we come back here, solo it. We're not doing anything to the bottom. We're taking out transient from the mids and above. No sustain. Just taking out transient. It was a little bit pokey. Sometimes I'll use this and just the snap of the snare, that initial stick hitting the head, the impact, and the top end can be a little splatty, and so we'll just use this. Sometimes we're boosting, but here we're cutting. So that sample that came to us just felt like it needed to dial that back a bit after the compression we did. You might be thinking, well, don't do the compression and then don't have to do this. We'll see. It's still a little bit too indie rock. It's a little more subtle, less aggressive. For this song, I think that worked. So cool. Feeling that out. let's move on. Let's talk about the snare room. My favorite reverb is actually Valhalla Room. Man, throw this thing, your lead vocal, just give it a little bit of that studio sound, just a hint. Thing sounds amazing. Acoustic guitars. I will stick this on, obviously, snare drums. I use this a ton on overheads, hats, but then also crowd mics, audience mics. I don't have an example of that here. This is more of a radio, streaming ready kind of thing. But Valhalla Room, I'm not like 1 point anything to 2.5 even if you got a large. Man, this thing sounds incredible. Take the mix knob and just pull it back. Send the crowd mics to it. Give them just a little bit extra smoothness. It can kind of soften it, make it sound less harsh. There's a lot of benefits to this one on some crowd mics, but check that one out if you haven't already. We're EQing it as well. Less fundamental and less splat in the room. Let's hear what the room, is it actually even in the mix on this song? I don't think I'm using it. Well, it's great, but I didn't use it on this one. So there you go. You got for future settings. You can use that. All right, moving on. Snare drum level, everything's off. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, so moving on, we'll check out the toms. I did replace the toms, didn't I? Oh, no, I used the gate. Interesting, okay. That one tom, and what did we do? I got the gate on. Here's without it. Just needed a quick gate. And that did the job. So that's that one. What are we looking at here? Same thing, just a quick gate. Gate job from Trigger. It's kind of weird to say that's an old school trick at this point, especially considering the gate that they built into VMR is incredible. I got to check out Sonic's. Their is it their gate that's Oxford? Yeah, one of those. It's apparently amazing. We gotta get caught up with what's the latest here. Okay, so we're listening to floor tom as well. It's just the gate. Yeah, a little bit not great in solo, but we're not listening in solo. Let's hear it.
So I'll trust the mighty works of your hands to make all things new.
Yeah, right on. So again, this was a demo. The timing was loose. It was just, hey, it's a contest submission, and we took it from that to cleaning it up and spacing and tuning and editing and production and added some percussion and all kinds of stuff. So we're just going to keep breaking it down. If you guys are into this, you want to see more of these breakdowns, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and you know what to do if you want the notifications so that you can get the updates when we go live. It's been a minute since we've been on this. Our daughter was in a pretty horrific motorcycle accident. Last few weeks have been a little bit chaos, but between that and having my head in the sand with MIXPrep, if you haven't seen that already, first hour to 2 hours of mixing saved. Just check it out. Links in the description. I won't even say any more about it. Just to say that we're going to be coming with more of these videos. So we're going to be live again tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow morning. And we're going to talk about the drums continued. We'll move on into the bass. And then I'll check in with you guys. I'm doing a poor job of it tonight. But, yeah, hey, we got some people hanging out. Oh, no, can't get to the website, themixacademy.com. Yeah, check out the link. It should be up now. We had some issues. I think it's been a couple weeks, but I screwed up something with my Cloudflare, and had to wait. Well, I think it was like 2 or 3 days for it to come back online. So sorry about that. All right, so what were we talking about? Wanted to make sure you guys, what's up, friends, in the chat? Check in, and if you have questions before we wrap it up, I will take a look one more time, and I'll go through and we'll answer any questions. I think I saw one about reverbs and delays for vocals. We will definitely talk about that. Cool. So, hat, ride, mixing program drums here. It's a little different. Yep. And so without it, here's the rooms are making a big part of that. Decent, but much smaller. And in solo, I'm not getting all the hits. Like they're kind of dipping, right? And so let's see what we got. Yeah, it goes from like grandma kind of tapping on it to like a drummer leaning into it. And so we're pretty aggressive with the compression on the hat there. And that's not what I would do necessarily for a live hat. We would probably be fighting it and doing some other things and side chaining. And who knows what we can come up with if we're dealing with a fish tank drummer in a church. But here, let's take a look at this EQ. We're just scooping out some of that 1K that's kind of the side stick of it. Kind of the equivalent of like what we suck out of the toms. It's kind of 300 to 500. That's similar effect that we're getting there in the hi-hat. Smoothing it out, giving it a little bit of a better texture. And then let's go through the room mics because that makes a difference. We'll actually start with them in and then I'll pull them out one at a time. So just adding some depth, giving it a little bit more space. These are reverbs I use almost every mix. It's hilarious. When I was young and dumb, and I was, give a shout out to Kenny Joya from the Groove 3 stuff. He was even in the Duck, the Avid user forum. What was it? The DigiDesign user conference is what it was called. And anyways, Kenny would watch him, and I remember him talking about these room mics that he was using, and I think he said he used them on every mix, like had the same basic reverbs, and then he would EQ and do whatever differently. But I remember being like, oh, that's boring. Maybe his age. I don't know how much older Kenny was than me, but I have the same 3 drum room sounds, and they just work. So a lot of the drum sound comes from what's delivered, and then we're just enhancing it. And so if it works, why reinvent the wheel? So I don't spend a lot of time chasing drum reverbs like I used to when I was younger. But so you'll see this in my template now inside the control room, or you can just snag it right now. I'll tell you what it is. It's Burkasti Close from the Verb Suite Classics. If you don't have the Slate stuff, you could Google Burkasti M7 IRs, impulse responses. And I used to know, I think it's simplicity.com. Simplicity, maybe Google that. I don't know if it's still around, but it used to be donation based, and he had these impulse responses, and I used them from back then. And it was the Studio B Close, the Burkasti M7, again, about a half-second room tone decay. And then we'll look at the EQ in a second. And then the FAR is also about a half-second, but it's just a different character room. And that's also the Burkasti M7, about a half-second there. And then the large wooden room is the large wooden, about a second decay time. And again, it's the Burkasti M7. So Simplicity, or check out the Slate Verb Suite. It's in there as an additional download. Love it. Use it every day. And here we go, back to the close mic. Just for this one, just a simple high-pass filter on these. That's just in my template as a starting place. Sometimes I'm really getting in and mangling that and hitting it. Sometimes I compress them, add room, Sans amp or guitar amps, get crazy with it, automate them on off. This one, we just got a nice laid back room sound with a high pass filter on each of them. So some encouragement there. Mangle your tracks. It's totally fine. All right, moving on. We've got the open hi-hat. Probably not much to this. It wasn't right. It needed that cut, that 1K cut. Did you hear that? That's not good for anybody. There we go. Softer. Yeah, so that needed to go too. So we just cut what 1.1, 5.6 dB. We've got a pretty big cut, 7.5 dB at 4K, and then 6K ish, another 3 dB. So we're really softening that guy up. Let's come out here and hear it again with. So when it hits it a little harder there at the end, it's kind of extending out a bit with the verbs. It's a soft touch, but a couple of minor things, and that sounds pretty good. So a little tip, I do it all the time, is I used to have the Akai. I got to get my stuff out of storage. The Akai pads, and would all the time bring in like Superior Drummer or Slate, whatever it's called, and Stephen Slate drums, or Battery, and I would just layer like that sound samples. Would have the multi-velocity crash ride kind of thing, and put the left, put the right, and I would just listen to the overhead and go through and play it and quantize it against it, and then blend those to add fullness and quality to overheads that have been heavily edited. And so you get the warbling from Elastic Audio or Beat Detective. You can get just the fades, and it can get kind of weird. And so it used to be a part of my default mixing process was to like smash those samples in. But on this one, we have samples as the source. So just make them sound good, no bleed to worry about, and we're moving on. But anyways, okay, so what do we do on the crash? Let's hear the raw. Sounds pretty good. Sounds really good. Here's our processing. Pulling out the boxiness a little bit. Fullness for the cymbals lives down there, but let's break it down. So one thing at a time. This first EQ, pulling out the top end, making sure we tame the splashy stuff. We get a lot of that from room mics. This is honestly a habit, is to immediately just dull, crash overheads, hats is often to just pull back and use this as a volume knob for them. How much am I going to soften the overheads today? But for this one, they're samples and they sounded pretty good. A couple of frequencies we're pulling out for probably whistly quality. That one. I'm moving kind of quick here, but so probably just I prefer that in the mix. Obviously, the other way sounds better in solo, but let's check context of that. I don't know if it's going to come forward. Let's hear. Let's back it up a hair.
You make all things.
You hear that vocal, right? On time with the beat.
You make all things.
All right, so that's the crash with.
You make all things.
Yeah, did you hear it there? It hits, and then it kind of is gone. Is not smooth. It's not elongated. It needs to be, and so we've done that. Let's hear it in solo again. See, you don't hear it that way in solo, but in the track for sure. And then here. It's big, it's bold, and it extends. It's like, I'm here, I'm the crash, I serve a purpose. And we're moving on. So, yeah, we already looked at all that. Okay. Template stuff. Those are the drums. We did kind of make it through. So we'll go up and we'll look at the bus processing. Again, if you missed the last video, we broke down the entire template. It's still up online. I meant to take it down, but we've had some personal stuff going on, and so I'm a little bit behind on things. But you can still watch it on YouTube. You can see the entire breakdown of what plugins, where, and why. But for drums, it's been part of my template for so long. The virtual mix bus, hitting that pretty hard, probably. Not too bad here. Oh, and we're not sending the kick to it. So that's one reason it's not getting hammered like it normally does. But the snare is getting the snare catcher compression. Let's check that out. Yeah, so we're bringing that to life, really extending the sustain on it, controlling the transient, serving two purposes there. Really like what that's doing to make it sound more modern. The next thing, we've got some more compression, and I don't know that we're using very much. Maybe just a hint on the low end, a kiss on the top end of this guy. Yeah, very boring without it. Slower in volume. Let's hear it one more time. Absolutely. So absolutely. Filling it out. We got a little bit of excitement in the top end, a little bit on the bottom end, hitting it with something. And then we got more 1K pulling out, 3 dB. I typically do that on my drum crush. So I must have just heard that with that extra compression, I felt like it needed less. And we did it. So we're cutting 1K or so there. And then I've never done this before, but I felt like the drums just were not flaring up enough on the final mix. And I can't remember if it was Joey Fernandez told me try the inflator on the drum bus, or if it was something I just thought. I can't remember, but I did it and I liked it, and I haven't played with this plugin since. I need to. But yeah, here, let's take a listen and we'll bypass it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so again, it's just expanding the snare a bit, adding some life to that. And then the toms really, at the end there, probably could do a better example, but the toms had a nice sustain to them, nice energy coming forward with the inflator on. And then the hat, the ride, the overheads, those all go to the high-end bus. I know it was kind of weird, but shout out to Dave Pensato. It's not weird, it's beautiful. I love Dave. And yeah, that's just getting the virtual mix bus. It also got the inflator, and oh, I really did go for this. I put the inflator on all the buses. I really had never done that before. Let's hear what the drums and the overhead sound like. Yeah. It's not super major, but it definitely livens them up. It adds some size to them, fullness, and yeah, thickness even. It's like a saturation kind of thing happening there. Really dig what's going on. And that's where we ended up. We probably, did we already break down the bus? How much time I got? We'll take a super quick look. I got ahead of myself like I do often on the gain staging, driving hot into the processing, get a little bit carried away sometimes. This is one of them. And yep. And now remember, this is not the kick drum. It's not going through this processing. The snare, the toms, everything else is, but the kick drum wraps around it and is locked in on this end. Yeah, so we're not really using the bus compression very much. Barely tickled there with the snare drum. With everything in, I'm sure it'll move a little bit more. The vocals probably getting touched by the meter. Let's check that. Let's see if the vocals getting hit by it. Even though we're not looking at the vocals here. It'd be cool to know. Okay, back down here.
You make all things new. God, you make all.
I think it's mostly the snare drum, but yeah. So bus compression. What are we doing? Yeah. Fastest release. It's usually the fastest, second fastest, or auto for me, but usually actually auto is on mix B. For parallel compression, auto can be like a smear button. And so I almost never use it on mix A anymore. But the fastest, second fastest, on a ballad, slower tune, it may work out for the others, but second fastest attack, second slowest attack. And what are we doing? 4-1. Goldfoss is on every mix since I found out about this thing. On this particular mix, we did 12K and above. We let live, and we used quite a bit of brightness. I probably, when I referenced, it was not quite where it needed to be, and so use that for a little bit of lift, but I almost never touch the bottom end. Brightness, I'm almost always pulling back, but yeah, there we go. VTM, let's see what we're hitting it.
You make all things new. God, you make all.
So it's definitely impacting the sonic signature, but it's not getting slammed like it has in some of my sessions. We got some mid-side usually here. It doesn't even look like we're doing mid-side. We're just a little shelf, pulling up some low wind. Just kind of looking at this like, so the mastering guy doesn't have to do anything. What would I do here? And this is where I'm treating. I think I broke this down in the last video. Had the match EQ, thorn in my side. You can watch that one and learn what I'm doing there. I'm going to tease you with this one. This one, go check out the other video. I break down the whole thing. Here, I'll show you with and without it.
You make all things new. God, you make all things new. You make all things new. God, you make all things new.
I like it both ways. I think I prefer it off if I'm as a fan of music, but I think you got to have it on for that forward radio ready streaming sound. I think that's this mid compression makes it feel wider, hits it harder, gets everything forward. Love this thing. I talk about the settings and all of it, how I set it up in the last session. This has got to be right. The low band here where you set that for your crossover. Another instance of match EQ. I told you it was a thorn in my side. I don't know what I would have used for a reference. Let's pull that up. Their own demo. And got a Sean Moffat mix in here, Phil Wickham. There's some Bethel, Cody Carnes, a little bit of everything, all over the theological spectrum. And yeah, so very cool. Looking at the one knob, I get this question quite a bit. I forget what course where I featured the one knob. Shout out to Doug Weir, pro mixer. Told me about the one knob, automating it on lighter sections where maybe it's a little more intimate, or it's a guitar and a vocal. Verse is not quite as too dynamic, right? Between the verse and the chorus. If it's too separated, it's just not as glued. Throw this on, automate it. A pinch, right? Just like pull it up, overdo it, see what it sounds like to do it too much, and then find where your ear likes it, bypass it, compare, go to the next section, make sure it's off. You want to automate it for the section that you're working on. We'll show you here. Command, Control, click, and you can see we're automating. This whole first part of the song is getting one knob pressure.
Before I could see it, you were there fighting for me. Before I believed in you, God, you believed in me. When I had a problem, God had a plan. so I'll trust the works of your hands. You make all things new. God, you make all things new.
Yeah, love it. So this is definitely helping us smooth out that first section.
God, you believed in me when I had a problem. God had a plan, so I'll trust the works of...
I don't know, maybe 15%. It's got a little bit of, but if you turn it off, it kind of collapses down a little bit, and it just sits. It's just a little more proper with it on. So I dig that. It's something I dig out every now and then. And then we looked at the parallel compression settings. Maybe we can show you what it sounds like with and without it.
Big, God, you make all things.
Let's get maybe that last chorus-ish. And so with this, mix B is parallel compression on the entire mix. And so I've got two compressors. Typically just copy down my bus. I'm boring sometimes, but just copy down the bus compressor, grip on it, see what it sounds like if I get aggressive with it, try different attack times, try to really be aggressive with these. And then in stages. So the first one, I'm just trying to grip it a little bit. And then the second one, I try to clamp on it a bit more. And then sometimes, depending upon the song, I like to add a third at a much higher ratio, almost limiter. What's the one from Plugin Alliance? I think it's one of the API or the Lindell consoles has got a gnarly compressor. You guys probably have your favorite compressor, but hit it with a character compressor or something, saturation even. And the goal is to get something that's pleasantly compressed, but well compressed. Like we're gripping on it and we've got a hold on it, and then we blend that in parallel. And so then we're blending something that's controlled but pleasant or aggressive, depends on the song. Anyways, blending it in parallel. First compressor up here, we got the slowest attack. The next one, I'd be willing to bet. Look at that. It's still the slowest attack, but it goes to the fastest release. So we go from the second to the fastest. So have fun with it, man. No rules. Let's take a listen with and without it.
All things new. You make all things new. God, you make all things new. All things new. You make all things new. God, you make all things.
Yeah, so again, we got these blossoming moves and we're doing them in stages. We're eventually going to get this blossomed mix. And so it feels pretty full there. I like what that's doing. And I kept it. So we've got EQ, got a little bit crazy. I'm always boosting subs for days. I wear the sub pack so I can feel them and know what's going on. And this one's a little bit heavy down there. I don't high pass every mix / master. This just needed it. Got a little out of hand. Clipping into limiting, which in this case, it's actually clipping into my, told you I like to push subs. This is dialing things back. Initially, my mix went for live modern worship. I mix a ton of live gospel, a ton of live worship, and I went that direction with it. And then maybe halfway through, towards the end even, I caught myself and was like, this is totally a like a radio, Era 1 kind of vibe. And so I went with Ozone's recommendation to pull back the subs, tweak that. I think I might have added this one. And but no, it added the mid-range for sure. And let's see what else it did for us. This, I think, it actually reduced the stereo imaging, and I was just rebelling against that, and I flipped it and added more. Clarity, it loads it at like 20 or 25, and I always feel like I got to pull that back. Been using this less, but man, this and stabilizer together, it's a phasey mess, but if it sounds good, man, it's working for me. Especially in this one, I felt like it needed to come forward more from my initial direction. But stabilizer, got that going on. And then I moved the maximizer to its own, and I've been using 2 or 3 different limiters. I'm talking about that in control room this week. We've got a limiter shootout we've been doing. I said me, on my own, working on MIXPrep and then doing a limiter shootout. And I actually really still like IRC5, the multi-band aspect of this. I feel like I can push it harder. Is it the best sounding? I don't know. It works for me. I'm looking at more as which one works for the way I mix the best, and having a multi-band limiter certainly helps when I'm going aggressive. And this is my go-to. But IRC4, modern, transient, invisible limiter from AOM. There's so many. We're so spoiled. There's some new ones I think I saw came out recently that had some AI technology. Who knows what the heck is going on? But this is what I used on this song, and you can see the exact settings. Let's hear how big of a improvement it's making on the final loudness. Probably agree to disagree on that one, but we'll see.
All things new. You make all things new. God, you make all things new. All things new. You make all things new. God, you make all things new.
They've got to have a like a gain matching. Is that what this button is? Probably.
All things new. You make all things new. God, you make all things new. All things new. You make all things new. God, you make all things new.
It's a little bit of a letdown. It's a little bit of a joy suck there, but yeah, that's not bad for, getting it loud, for getting it hot. We're missing out on a little bit, but it's also doing us some favors too. So I'm gonna take the wins and consider that a victory using Ozone on this song. But hey, tell you what, if you have questions, I will do my best to hit all of them and answer. But we're going to let this one live. I'm going to try to get this series wrapped up in the next week. And so we got to talk about the bass, the percussion still probably we should do, the guitars, the keys, the acoustics, the electrics, the piano. Just had a call with my buddy Lucas from Produce Perform and did two main things for him. He's already killing it. But then we looked at his headphone calibration. I did a mastering job on a mix that he did, and night and day, man. It was incredible. He had a blast. I had a blast. And I'll put maybe his testimonial down below as well. You can see that. Or if Lucas, you happen to see this, drop a comment. Let him know, man. But yeah, anyways, what I was going to say is also piano. He was, we talked about how aggressive I get with piano, whether it's a CLA 76, the Fairchild, or both. That's something that we'll look at in a future video and show you exactly how to get that modern, just controlled, but sounds pleasant. It's not like squashed and you hate it. Or you do, and you do something a little different. Or, the mix knob, I'm always playing with that thing. Is it 50% on this one? All right, anyway, so we got more videos, more things coming your way. Don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't already, check out. You want to save some time. Very excited. MIXPrep 2.0. We are not only going to rename your tracks, the actual names that you want. I got MIXPrep over here. Let's do a quick. We got a new GUI here. Let's go pull. Let's pull some multi-tracks. Let's do a quick one just so you see. You know what? I said I was going to answer some questions. Let's do a test here live on air. We'll say, boom. This is a Dr. Toomey track I just mixed. He produced for an artist I believe he is pronounced Deneo. And that one is be released soon. And we'll be featuring that in Control Room. Got a whole mix breakdown for you coming for that. And then what was I going to do? We're going to look at, so MIXPrep's running its thing right now. This is MIXPrep 2.0. And it's going to analyze the files. It's going to sort them. It's going to look if it's dual mono and not true stereo. We're going to squash that. We're going to turn non-true stereo files into a mono file. We back up so we don't touch your originals. This, I skip part of the process. We can actually take that zip, just drag your zip on there. It'll unpack it faster than Apple's, save you like 7%. Just, under 10, but we'll see if we can speed it up. I don't think so, but we're saving some time there. I'm trying to just make this amazing for you guys. It's going to analyze your files, the stereo to mono thing. It's going to gain stage them how you want. The first time you ever launch it, it's going to ask you how you want the app to perform for you. Do you want to do clip repair, declick? Do you already want to just let us knock that out for you? Do you want the files in folders or in one big thing? Do you want us to include the tempo and find that for you so you can drag it into your DAW and map it directly to your auto-tuning plugins? All kinds of stuff. MIXPrep Pro is now available. That's instead of the sidebar being 2 or 3 references, now we launch a whole page, auto-analyze the references on your drive with your permission, sorts them, groups them, and then we connect. I have an AI engine you can turn on or off. No audio leaves your hard drive, but we analyze for the harmonics. We look at the frequency profile, the lyrics, and we pull references that are relevant to the song that you're about to mix. Then once you're done, you get all this done and you're ready to prep, you hit process and you can choose, do you want to put your files into a Pro Tools session? We've got all DAWs except Logic. Logic Pro doesn't look like it's going to happen for us. We do have a BWF and an AAF, and I think those are the two that one or the other, or there's a different one that works with Logic. Sorry guys, I'm not a Logic guy. Pro Tools through and through, but most other DAWs, believe it or not, we're going to be able to do some damage. So trying to save you guys a ton of time, the boring admin stuff that you don't want to do, cleaning up your files. MIXPrep, check out the link in the description. This has taken us a minute. I dragged on, 75, 74 files. These are all stereo files from the producer. And so if you come in, like even the bass amp, I'm gonna show you, stereo. And so this is the perfect example, but it does take a little bit longer when you have 74 stereo files. But still, I want to say this is going to take us into the next screen in the next 2 or 3 minutes. And then from there, it's done. Everything's auto-categorized. Everything will be gain staged the way you want it. You can use Smart Gain. You can set it to a predetermined value. -18 is what I used to use. It's just, man, so proud of it. Been head in the sand, just trying to make this great for you guys and deliver on the promise. We're saving you the first hour to 2 hours on larger projects, and album mode is coming. It's a thing. So it works. It's pretty crazy. But the thing I am most proud of, I can't show you right now in this session, but imagine this. This is a finished mix. What we could do is actually over here with MIXPrep, you hit capture and it'll guide you through, hey, we want to save as. We don't want to overwrite a finished mix. It walks you through it. Save as. Are you sure? Are you sure you're sure? Just make sure you know that this is going to overwrite. And so once you've saved as a copy of your final mix, you can capture everything about it, the gain staging, but not the automation, right? Every song is going to get its own automation. And so we wipe the automation for you. We analyze the gain for every single track, the naming, the nomenclature, what you've used on your actual tracks. And then we take a session print, I call it. So like a fingerprint. You store that, and then the next time you go to use MIXPrep, I'll show you here in a second, when you launches in, you can choose that preset or that template from the dialogue there, the drop down, and then you can pull in. So here's where this is powerful. So let's say we mix I mix gospel and live worship all the time. Let's say we have an album, it's 12 songs. We mix the first song, we go all out, we get it just signed off, the way that the band wants it, the artist, the church, whatever. Now, songs 2 through 17, they're all the same drum sound, all the same bass sound, all the same guitars, etc. There's going to be some variant, there's going to be some things between them, but the core sound is going to be, especially these live albums. And so that's really where this was built to shine, is you scan it, you analyze it, and then now you print song 2 to song 1 session, and it just drops them all on the track. And so it's going to gain stage your kick, your snares. If you want your kick to fan out onto multiple kick triggers, got you covered. Snare, the same thing. And it's going to put them right on top of you. If you got tracks maybe you're not sure, you can just say, hey, put it at the top. You can say put it at the top and make it active or inactive. And then you can choose the gain structure in it as well. But anyways, I won't run through the whole thing, and we've been going, and I think I'm late picking up my son. So we're going to, my wife's out of town after our daughter's motorcycle accident. So I've got daddy duty here, but this is going to go for another minute. Again, all stereo files. This one is really like 100 plus files. This is a great example, but a terrible live example because it's going to run for another minute or so. Oh, look at that. 6 minutes, and it let us in. Okay, we're going to keep going. I'm sorry. It's not really late yet. We'll let him wait for a minute. So what do we got? We got our ref. It noticed that there's a reference attached to the files. Smacked it up top, graded out. We got our drums. This is the order that I like to have the files is drums, percussion, then our bass, and our guitars. Now, here's the thing. Version 2.0 and actually 1.6 is coming tonight for you guys. This 2.0 is beta. 1.6 has got a lot of these same improvements. It just doesn't have session print yet directly into Pro Tools. But you can reorder all this. We got the brand new menu, the settings. You can come and open that up and change where you want things to go. Drag them as a whole and put the drums at the bottom of the session if you want. You can do whatever you want with that. We got the whole thing. Man, I'm just so proud of what we've been doing here. It's been a lot of hard work, and so appreciate you letting me tell you about it here at the end. But your drums are going to be aligned. They're going to be where you want them to go. We've got the lead vocal always at the bottom of the session, but again, you can change that. Labeled, organized. Now, here's the thing. This session was actually very well named other than the numbers and the stuff at the end. And so you can see what we did to help this session out. Go to the original names, and there's some of them it leaves because you have multiple of them. It's going to be smart like that. But for most of them, you can see it's cleaned up the tracks. And this is a well-named set of multi-tracks. Sound like, yeah. Anyway, so you can see we got the tempo, the key, everything there. We're going to export a MIDI file for you so you can drag that in first, get your session prepped the right way the first time. What else was I telling you? You can click on anything, hit play. You're going to be able to sample the sound, hear what it is, click, rename it if you want to. If you do have a file, it's the learnable dictionary, by the way. So if you get in the habit of naming whatever to the way you like it, it's going to learn that and it's going to fix it automatically on the next pass. And so it's going to learn you as you continue to use it. As you color things, as you label things. Let's say this lead vocal was not a lead vocal. I could actually right click and recategorize that. Let's say it was an electric guitar. Just come in here and choose electric guitar, boom, and it's going to snap it to the electric guitars and change the color, the labeling, and that affects its smart gain, which I built years and years and years of mixing. You get into a mix, you're going to pull the kick up about the same every time, gain staging wise with the method that I do, because I used to put everything before MIXPrep, put everything down to -18, and then built the mix with clip gain. Now this does that for you the way that I've mixed for years. It's going to get you smart gain, will take you to a decent rough mix right out of the gate with most genres. And so you're going to have that before and after sample already ready for you. Print that, save that as your raw before, and then after you're done with a mix, then you'll put it into Control Room's Mix Proof, and we'll print you out your widget audio player, and you got your before and after samples. We got all kinds of stuff for you guys in the Control Room coming, man. It's going to be exciting. So anyways, I did that. You can hit undo. It's going to put it right back, color it where it was, fix that. That was a pain in my side, a thorn in my side, was hitting undo. Used to, a known bug was it would not go with the row. It would go with, it would go with the row. And then if you hit undo, it would change the soprano to the wrong color and the naming. But we got through all that. Many weeks of head banging and my autistic butt. We worked it out. Here's MIXRef, your first look at it. MIXRef Pro. It's now an entire screen. It takes over the app. It's going to recommend based on the tracks. I do have an update to that is not here in front of you. That is going to be impressive. I'm very excited about it. You can open this up. You can go to Apple Music and buy the tracks, download it, use it in your favorite referencing plugin. Snap that open here. Didn't mean to do that. We'll look at this let's come back. I actually want to show you, back to the session, generate mix brief, because this is something I am ridiculously excited for. And right after you click it, it's going to start the process to analyze the files. It's going to come up with your either production. You can see it's available, but it's coming soon for you guys. Editing and mixing. And so this is what are the first things that we need to look at with editing? Hey, almost done this thing. To get to a clean mix start, there's some issues here. We had some bit depth mixed issues. There were the stereo to mono stuff. There were 25 tracks in this batch that were dual mono, and so it converted those to mono for us. do first, resolve the bit depth. It's actually analyzing the files right now. And so it's eventually going to load with the name of the session, and then a whole ton of things that you need to look for, either the spacing and the arrangement and your kick and snare samples in your production, they're out of key with your bass or they're not working. You've got dissonance, clashes with your keys and your synths and your guitars. All that's going to be available to you in the production and editing side. The mixing will be a varied version of that built for mixers. And so each report is going to be built for those three processes. And you can see this one's already coming in. And I did build my mixing checklist. You can see it's starting to work for us here. I built my mixing checklist into the app so that usually only available in my premium courses, now available in the app. You can export and take it with you, and it'll apply my mixing checklist to your session that you've got, the multi-tracks in front of you. And so lots of great tips and advice in there. Definitely recommend checking that one out. But this thing is lots of CPU for the report, but it's because right now, amateur dev over here, everything loads at one time. And so I'm working on the progressive loading for you guys that care about that and geeking out with me. At this point, if you're still watching, you're more along because you're bored and maybe you got a really good snack. But here you go. So it's loading. And so looking at the editing for the drums, it's saying 3 tracks carry trailing dead air space post safety trail, stripper faded out, basically telling us to get our fade outs and time those to the track. We've got our low end 4 tracks carry. This is one that I'm getting rid of. I've got strip silence, track by track strip silence being built in right now in Claude Code and Codex behind the scenes as we're talking. But I'm going to be using this information, pulling it out of the report and applying it to strip silence, and you'll get a visual here in the report that shows you, and you can confirm if you want it or not per track, or just confirm all. But that's going to be nice to not have to worry about that. I've seen some strip silence that is just like general settings, and you click it and it just botches all your files. This is like OCD, don't let an edit slip, autism, ADHD, hyper-focused type of editing. I'm pushing the system to really get the best we can from it. Anyways, thresholds and all that stuff is more than I ever thought I'd be dealing with, but here we are. So anyways, there's going to be some improvements to this. That's actually kind of not great, but mixing, let's see what it's got. Phase pair, snare, top, bottom. Want to take a look at that. The kick in and kick out mics. It's talking about the overhead. So it's got our phase recommendations. I actually have phase sync. There you go. Now it's actually loading. You got the song and the artist name, but the exact frequencies where things are clashing and your kick and bass. Let's scroll down. You can see low end. It's going to give recommendations about, it's got actually where the clashes to check. And so you can see maybe some high pass filtering would be beneficial to some of these keys. There we go. So with kick fundamental, this key is G major. And so you can see the current kick fundamental is at C2 at 67 Hertz from the files. And that's why if you look in the session, I detuned my kick sample, tuning that to the kick. I don't know if I went with the tonic or the third on this one, but anyways, you can see here, there's the tonic, the fifth, the octave above. There's some recommendations for you. It tells you what your kick's at. It'll come over and it'll talk about your bass, where that's at, make recommendations for you. All kinds of good stuff. I'm blabbing. This is a little bit crazy, but my baby right here, share it with you guys, keeping it open. Founders Access is public now. We did a private Founders Access. Now we have a public Founders Access. We'll put that link in the description, of course. And man, any questions about this, the drums, you guys let me know in the comments. I appreciate you hanging out. And man, make you wait all that time. Hit process. And something I didn't show you, that I don't have time to show you, is plopping it into a template. So maybe tomorrow when we open up the low end, we'll do a little section at the end of the video for anyone who wants to see the session print 2.0 in the works. That's going to take longer than I have to show you. But guys, I appreciate you hanging out. We will do more of these. I've got another one scheduled for tomorrow. So mark your calendars. I want to say tomorrow around probably 10 or 11 a.m. Pacific time. we're going to be live. And so we'll be doing a little bit here and then finally fixed my control room live. And so we're going to be breaking down from this and we'll go into control room to talk about other things and take questions and critiques and all kinds of good stuff. So appreciate you guys, man. It's been a wild ride with my health, but working back, try to get full time, and we'll just keep fighting to stay here for you guys, man. But don't forget to like, subscribe. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. Hey, you asked about mixing vocals. Is that Michael? Yeah, we're going to be, we'll hit all the vocals. I actually layered, I'm not a singer, but I layered some backgrounds here. Almost used Automy, but ended up just keeping my stuff, I think.
Got you make.
Yeah, robotic, but let's,
Got you make.
without it,
Got you make. Got you make.
it needed a little bit of help. So went in there to support him, just used this $40 Mayano mic while we've been traveling and recorded some vocals for my friend. So yeah, there we go. We got Above Worship, All Things New. We kind of touched on all kinds of stuff, but hopefully you got a good idea of what's going on with the drums and how we're getting that sound. No pun intended. So you guys rock, man. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. And God bless. Have a good night.